Hello, hey, hi, welcome back to another video. Today we are going over everything I made in February. Now, February was kind of a chaotic month for me. I had my spring break right at the end of February, hence why I didn't post a video last week, and for that I do apologize. Hopefully a bonus video will be coming out sometime soon-ish. And also, it's a shorter month in general, and I did a lot of preparing this month instead of a lot of finished products. I have a lot of work in projects that I worked on that aren't technically finished products, but they've needed a lot of work in order to get done. So I apologize if this video is a little weird. I feel like I say that in every single one of my videos. I have everything that I have made and also been working on to show you. You'll probably have seen some of these in some of my videos before. One of them actually you haven't quite seen yet, but you'll see next week. I have a few finished makes that I want to share with you, some that will be turning into finished makes here soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. This is kind of just a roundup of what I've been working on in February, and I hope you enjoy. The very first thing I made in February is See My Vest by Maker Crochet. I think that's, let me double check actually. Yes, Maker See My Vest Chunky. I got this I Heart yarn in my Hobie mystery bag. It was this, they called it a 5-weight. I classify it more of a heavy 4-weight yarn. It was this very buttery yellow color, and I had 3 skeins of it, and so I was like, well, it's not quite enough to make a whole sweater, but maybe I can get a vest, and so I really wanted to knit myself a vest, and so I did. Here it is. It's, like I said, it's this very light buttery yellow. I think it came out great. It fits perfectly like a glove. My gauge was right on, and this only took me, I think, about a week. I have my notes here with me. I started this on January 25th and I finished it on February 6th. So right and early in the month, I got it done. I was working on it a lot during class, and it was also, I think, the first time I've done a construction like this in knitting. I think a lot of the things that I've done have been panels, where instead this was I knit one shoulder, I knit another shoulder and combine, and then I would attach back at the shoulder and work the back panel, and then attach and work my way around. I thought that was really fun. I think it makes this really seamless look on the shoulders. It fits really well, and yeah, I'm just overall really happy with this vest. I've worn it before. You might have seen in one of my videos of me wearing it, and yeah, I think it turned out really nice. It's super warm. Even though it's only 100% acrylic, I can only wear it whenever it's really cold because otherwise I feel like I'm sweating. I'm not sure how exactly to style this because it is such a bright color, and I feel like I need something underneath it. So I've only managed to find one way to pair it with stuff, but very happy to have it in my collection. I want to make more knit vests. I feel like that's something I would like to wear more, but I don't have any to wear more. I wear a lot of sweaters in the winter. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's been really cold, so I wear a lot of sweaters. I'm now transitioning back to my t-shirt summer phase, but maybe in the in-between times I can start to implement some sweater vests. So maybe I'll keep my eye out some more patterns that I think I might like. After I made this vest, I had 1 skein left over. So this only took 2 of the 3 skeins from that Hobie Mystery We Heart yarn. So I had 1 extra, and what do I do with 1 skeins? I always make hats. I have been in such a hat phase this year. I don't know what's wrong with me, and last year too. I had a hat phase last year too. I guess I just like making hats. So I went ahead and I made this hat. This hat is a little different for me. If you've seen my knitting hat, you'll see all of these hats coming up. This was my leftover skein. It used up basically the entire thing, which was great. And I did a 2x2 ribbing, which is different. I typically do a 1x1 ribbing, either in just a single strand or a double strand for medium worsted weight yarn. So this was a little different for me, so it looks really thin because of that 2x2 rib. 2x2 rib loves to shrink in on itself, but it stretches to fit any other normal size head quite a lot. Yeah, I think this turned out really well. Matches the sweater vest if I want to. It's just such a nice bright color. Not something I would typically go for, but I'm really happy with it. I don't know if I'll do a 2x2 rib. It took me a little bit to get used to it because I'm so used to doing 1x1. I would knit one and then move my yarn over to purl, and then realize I still had to knit one, so I had to move it back over to knit, to move it back over to start the next 2 purls. So that was a little challenging at first, but once I got into the rhythm of things, it really started to pick up. I have a series of hats. I think this one probably took me like a day to day and a half, which most of these did. Hats are just fairly quick, so within the week I probably knit like 7-ish hats. Maybe, I think it took like a little bit over a week. Anyway, next hat is this blue hat. This is the Big Twist Jelly Bean hat. I believe sour raspberry, blue raspberry something. It's basically just this nice kind of royal-ish blue with a strand of like rainbow. I want to say it's nylon, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. And it just kind of twists around, and so you get this really cute kind of speckled look of the rainbow. This is a 1x1 rib hat, so I just single-stranded it, and yeah, it's pretty normal for my hats. I think the rainbow adds that little pop of color, which is super awesome, and yeah, really happy about this. My next 2 hats are from the same yarn. If you remember from my last everything I made in January, I made a hexagon granny stitch cardigan with Karen Jumbo Ombre, and I had some yarn left over from that project. So with that leftover yarn, I made 2 hats. It was a perfect amount to have hats that didn't have a brim, and I had a few different balls from the different areas I was working because I wanted to make sure that gradient was smooth. So I combined them to make 2 different hats to make sure these gradients also were fairly smooth. You will see that this goes pretty light to pretty light. That's just the way it ended up. And then this goes dark to pretty light. I think I like this one better, but I think some people might like just the little bit of variation that this one has. And yeah, these are also 1x1 rib, except this time they don't have the brim, just because I wasn't going to have enough to do 2 brimmed hats, or even 1 brimmed and 1 non-brimmed hat, because this literally used up like all of my yarn. I think I had a tail about this big, and like that was all I had left over, so that was awesome. My next hat is this hat. I had a Michaels gift card for like $50, and so I bought a ton of hat yarn. I bought all different colors, and it was 2 of them. I had a commission for a hat last month, and I just gotten the yarn in, and I had them pick colors. They said that they liked the 4 kind of brownie neutral tones, and also asked if they could pick more than 1. I hadn't ever thought about doing a dual hat color, but I actually really like how it turned out. They actually got the inverse of this hat, so there's one other hat that you don't see, and it has this brown on the bottom and this light brown on the top. But other than that, they're exactly the same. And I worked this out once again so that I had like the littlest tiny tail. I went until this ran out, and then I measured to make sure I would have just enough to finish up the hat before I started decreasing. So once again, I think my tail was, maybe this big. This was technically also single strand, although this I believe is a weight 6 yarn, so it is definitely, it gives that chunky look, but is actually only single-stranded. Nice and chunky. I really like this one. I think in the future I might take this line, instead of peeking it up out of the brim, I might shove it down into the brim and do more of like a half and half split, because this is kind of funky. And I think that will work just fine, and I think it might be a little more clean that way. I'm not too sure. I'm not sold on it yet. I do like the dual tone kind of hat situation, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet. It wasn't like hard to do. I did mean I have 2 extra ends to weave in, but an extra 2 ends, so instead of 2 it was 4. After I made all of those hats, I went to my granny squares. Some of you might have seen my how many granny squares in 1 week, and if you did, you will know that I crocheted I think like 64, 65 granny squares in 1 week, which is pretty crazy. It did help though that I was using the Red Heart all-in-one granny square yarn, so I wasn't having to deal with all of my ends. As you can see, I still haven't dealt with the little ends that comes with this yarn, but also 65 squares times 2 is like, what, 170 ends to weave in? I don't want to do that. Not right now, at least. I will do it as I make things with these. So yeah, I didn't bring out the whole stack because it's a lot, and I haven't been able to do anything with them yet. However, I do have plans. But for now, I brought out some representatives. So this one is Pop Culture. This one, oh man, why do I always forget the names? This one is Hyper Violet. This one is Amethyst. This one is Sauce Sky. These are all 4 colorways, and then I did obviously multiple of each of these so that I can start to make some vests. I've not gotten there yet. So far I just have the squares, but this took a lot of time. Obviously 60 something granny squares is a lot. So I don't have any like finished products to show you with them just yet. Hopefully that'll be next month, maybe. This is still a lot of work that I've been doing, so now we're starting to get into some of the non-finished products that I have, some work in progress makes, but I figured I should also remind you I did a ton of granny squares in February. My next project is a scrap mesh sweater thing. I don't really know how to describe it. It was a challenge that I did to bust some of those little pieces of my Wait For yarn that isn't really big enough to do anything with, but I needed something to do with them. I wanted to make kind of like a mesh shirt with a bunch of these scraps, and you haven't seen this yet, but it will be my next video, so stay tuned for next week so you can watch me actually make this. It technically isn't finished yet because I ran out of scraps, of course. So hopefully here soon I will be accumulating some more to add to this to finish out the last sleeve. But I did kind of a roll to scrap kind of thing inspired by Killian, aka Viney Maple, here on YouTube. They do a series where they have a bunch of colors and they roll to see what color they do next for the next row. So I did that for this, although I don't have like 20-sided die, so I just Googled random number generator and that was my roll. But it's cool, I think, how it's turning out so far. It's obviously not done yet. It's also pretty chaotic, so I don't know if it's quite everyone's taste, but I think someone will like it. It is also a large in size, so it definitely doesn't fit me, who leans more towards the small size. So if it looks kind of baggy on me, I do apologize. It will fit someone out there who hopefully has that kind of random, chaotic, bright, crazy style. Yeah, I just need some more yarn to finish it out. Stay tuned for that video where spoiler, I don't quite finish it. But the process of me making it, I think, will be really enjoyable for you. Next are 2 like really just like work in progresses that you also haven't seen, and I don't think you'll see them for a little bit. One of them I actually haven't been filming at all. This one is a Christmas present for my fiance. Now, if you know anything, Christmas was like what, 3 months ago at this point? I started it the week before Christmas. I was wrong on how long tapestry crochet would be. I haven't made tapestry crochet ever before, so I don't know what I was thinking of starting a huge like 7 or 8 color tapestry crochet for my first one a week before Christmas. I don't know what I was on, okay? But that's what I did, and it obviously is not done yet. Here's the progress so far. Oh my gosh. Here's my progress so far. Does it look like anything? Hopefully. It's flowers so far, but this is only like the bottom, maybe 1/4 of it. Maybe not even a 1/4. This is going to be a wall hanging for a bathroom. It'll have some text on there. I don't want to spoil it too much, but this is what we got so far. I took a long break on it because I was tired of it and my brain couldn't handle the tapestryness. I took a break for January, and then over the month, I've probably done about half of it. Yeah, this is also what I've been working on. The back is, I don't know, is that bad? Is that crazy? I don't know. I feel like it's crazy. I have sometimes a hard time keeping track of what is what. But yeah, this is what it looks like so far. Hopefully it looks good. I don't know. For my first one, it kind of buckles a little bit because I used 2 different kinds of cotton yarn. So they're a little, this like pink and red are a little thicker, and then this, I think it's the black and the light green are also thicker. Oops. Now I know. Hopefully it'll steam out, right? I don't know. Anyway, we're just gonna forget that that exists for a little bit again. Next up is something I have been recording somewhat, although it is very much still in the beginning stages of a whip. This is going to be a moss sweater. Like I said, still very beginning. I'm working with weight 1 very fine weight yarn, so this is taking me a very long time. I started this in the beginning of February, and it is now the beginning of March, and this is all I have to say for myself. So yeah, it's taken me a long time. It's also not like my first priority. This is more of a, I have some time and I want to work. Therefore, I work on this. I'm using this like Black Friday cotton from Hobie. It's an 8/4, so it's super fine. Hopefully it looks okay on camera. But I'm switching every row from purple to this kind of sandy brown color. I'm not quite to the point where I want to split for the sleeves just yet. I want to add a little bit of extra length before I do, just so I have a little bit of extra room. But unfortunately, I'm at like the biggest part, so every row takes absolutely forever. It's taken a long time to get to this point, so I think that's everything I did in February. Sorry the last little bit was more of works in progress. That's not typically my plan for this series. My plan was to do only finished products, but my only finished products were the vest and the hats, which I felt like wasn't a lot to make a whole video on, but I couldn't really just skip February. So sorry if March is a addition to some of these projects. February wasn't a big finish it month for me. I know a lot of people do like finish it February or whatever. I finished all of my whips in January, hence why I had a ton of makes in January. I also know that I shouldn't like be too hard on myself because making a ton of finished products in a month isn't a huge deal, especially because this isn't my full-time job. This is just a hobby, something I do for fun. So I shouldn't be criticizing myself of the fact that I only made like 6 or 7 hats and a sweater vest this month, plus like projects that are like ongoing. So like really that's still quite a lot. It just, in order to make a video on it, I feel like I needed more because last month was so much more, but that's because I was finishing a ton of whips that I had in my closet, so they didn't need as much time. You know, a lot of them were just touch-ups here and there, weaving in some ends, putting a border on it, or whatever. So that's just something I need to keep in mind. For March, I already have one finished object for sure. Hopefully I'll have a few others, but yeah, that is kind of my progress for February. I just realized I didn't record an outro for this video, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, make sure you like it. Subscribe so that you don't miss any more of my future videos. I make a lot of crochet vlogs, sometimes some challenge videos. I have a few ideas for some challenge videos coming up, so stay tuned for that. And also next week, stick around for the scrap mesh top. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of those, or also check out any of the videos that I've already posted. They'll keep you entertained in the meantime. But yeah, that's all I have for you, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.